Instead of wasting money on high energy bills this winter, Westerners should turn off the heating and spend their money in Thailand, advises the Tourism Authority of Thailand or TAT. Tourism operators demand cheaper flights to Bangkok, and Thailand's master complainer gets punched over a complaint against comedian. All that and more coming right up in today's program. Instead of wasting money on high energy bills this winter, Westerners should turn off the heating and spend their money in Thailand, advises the Tourism Authority of Thailand or TAT. With wholesale gas and electricity prices rocketing in Europe, TAT's invitation makes sense. In the UK, the average household is about £2,500 a year, up to £1,400 in October 2021. The governor of the TAT, Yuttasak Supasorn, said high costs of gas and energy will incentivize Westerners to escape the cold and come to Thailand. He says, save your money, lock your home and come to Thailand. Pay for a pool villa in Phuket instead of paying the energy bills. Mr. Yuttasak calls escaping harsh winters by coming to Thailand revenge traveling. We hope that with revenge traveling, there will be a shift to revenge spending. They buy everything. The TAT knows that tourism is nowhere near returning to pre-COVID levels, so they are depending on increasing how much each tourist is spending to boost tourism revenue. American tourists are expected to be spending more money in Thailand this winter as the Thai baht depreciated to 38 against the dollar for the first time in 16 years. Tourists escaping chilly western winters can keep warm for longer than usual this high season, as Thailand is now granting longer stays to tourists with extended visa on arrival and longer visa exemption on arrival. Between October 1, 2022 to March 31, 2023, foreigners arriving in Thailand are eligible to stay for 30 or 45 days. Visa on arrival stays will be extended from 15 days to 30 days. Passport holders from 19 countries are eligible for visa on arrival. Visa exemption stays for passport holders from 64 countries, which have bilateral agreements with Thailand, will be extended from 30 days to 45 days. Before the pandemic in 2019, Thailand welcomed almost 40 million tourists, generating $62 billion in revenue. As of October 9th, Thailand has so far welcomed 6.48 million tourists this year. The TAT expects 10 million arrivals by the end of 2022, just one-third of pre-COVID numbers. Tourism operators demand cheaper flights to Phuket. Phuket tourism operators are demanding that airlines cut ticket prices to make the island destination more financially attractive. As Chinese tourists are largely missing from the Phuket tourism market, operators are worried that traveling to the island is being seen as too expensive. According to the Bangkok Post, Chinese tourists accounted for 40% of the Phuket tourism market before the pandemic. Now, as it is struggles to bounce back post-COVID pandemic, local travelers are in focus on boosting Phuket's economy. But local travelers are viewed as not wanting to pay an arm and a leg to travel to the southern destination. President of the Phuket Tourist Association says local tourists account for the largest number of airport arrivals at around 8,000 to 9,000 passengers per day. That figure surpasses the number of foreign travelers by at least 4,000. The president cites airline tickets as being the most critical obstacle for domestic travelers to Phuket. He said Phuket had been perceived as an expensive destination among local travelers since before COVID-19. Although room rates and the cost of living remain affordable at the moment, as hotels are keeping prices low to attract tourists, the expensive airfares will deter them from visiting the island. He went further to say that without advance bookings, a round-trip fare could cost around 10,000 baht per person. He says that the current rate has an impact on tourists traveling as a group, like families, as the price of visit would be inflated. He noted that despite Thailand's reopening, the number of flights at the airport sits at around 100 per day, which means the airport still has slots available for airlines to expand their services for the high season. He said, with a lot of available slots for domestic carriers, we would like them to increase flights to Phuket, which will consequently help reduce the average airfare if there are more seats filling up this market. The president said that although the rainy season produced flooding, most of the island's beaches remained intact, which is a good indicator that more tourists will want to visit.
Thinking of investing, but don't know where to start? Ever heard of AAAFX?
What is AAAFX?
Good question. Look no further than AAAFX, your choice for trading and investing. Low commissions and spread with fast execution. They're trustworthy and have been offering services since 2008. You can invest using various deposit methods including crypto with negative balance protection and 100% matching deposit bonus. Choose AAAFX and enter the lucrative market of trading. Visit AAAFX.com.
The Pheu Thai Party is pushing to see rival Bhumjaithai Party go up in smoke, planning a petition to dissolve the party over the handling of their cannabis policies. The party plans on filing a petition to the Election Commission to consider the dissolution of all parties involved in the bungling of the decriminalization of cannabis in Thailand. They claim that the Bhumjaithai Party, who pushed for legislation and then found shocked that cannabis was being used recreationally and not just medically, used marijuana laws as smoke and mirrors to gain political favor among voters without proper legislative diligence, according to the local news agency. Cannabis was legalized in June with almost no regulation or policy thought out and put in place. Opponents of the legislation say that abused administrative powers and created problems, claiming that the botched decriminalization is a far cry from the medical cannabis plan the Bhumjaithai Party advocated for. The Pheu Thai Party leader called for consequences for the parties supporting the legislation. They said the current policy of allowing households to plant marijuana, having dispensaries, cannabis cafes, and cannabis decriminalization had nothing to do with the medical-only policy Bhumjaithai Party introduced to the public during the election in 2019. The petition to the dissolution of the party will be submitted to the Election Commission and will be considered in detail in all aspects. The consideration progress is expected to be reported by November 1st. While cannabis legalization has had its ups and downs, Minister of Public Health Anutin Chanvirakul said there was no putting the cat back into the bag. He said that decriminalization can't be reversed, but some Pheu Thai Party members have pushed for exactly that, recriminalization. The party's official stance is that they do not support any recreational uses of cannabis and want regulation solidified. Political parties have been wrestling over draft proposals for regulatory laws, and Pheu Thai wants the grey area cleared up immediately. Solo political activist Sisuwan Chanya, deemed Thailand master complainer, was physically attacked this morning as he was giving an interview to the media while he was at the Office of Technology Crime Suppression Division, or TCSD, to lodge a complaint against Udom Thaphanit, a stand-up comedian well known for his comedy series Deal 1 to 13. The attacker approached Sisuwan and started punching and kicking him. Police among the crowd of reporters intervened and managed to separate the two men. The assailant later told the media that his attack on Sisuwan was meant to teach him a lesson in response to his penchant for filing complaints on almost every issue against various people indiscriminately. He claimed that he did attack Sisuwan of his own free will and was not hired by anybody, adding that he took leave today in order to show the public that not everyone agrees with Sisuwan's complaints. He also said that he is ready to face legal action for the incident today and apologized to the TCSD police for the inconvenience caused. Before the surprise attack, Sisuwan told the media that he came to the TCSD office to ask the police to take action against Udom for his latest solo talk show, which was posted on social media. He alleged that Udom's talk contained some remarks which could be deemed incite the public to participate in protests, which may threaten national security, public order, and the rights of other people. Despite Sisuwan's apparent pro-Prayut stance, his complaining used to be directed at the Prayut-led military junta after the NCPO took power over Thailand by military coup in 2014. Sisuwan filed numerous complaints against its members and associates. Then he was summoned by the junta for an attitude adjustment. Deputy Prime Minister Prawit Wongsuwan says Nod Udom's anti-government jokes are not a big deal. However, it is no secret that you can get in big trouble in Thailand for anti-government espousals. For example, 3 men were jailed last week for insulting Prime Minister Prayut and Deputy Prime Minister Prawit. Police rescued 3 women and 2 kids held captive for 3 years in a Bangkok condo. Police rescued 3 women and 2 children from a condominium in Bangkok after being held captive for 3 years by their unscrupulous bosses. The 2 suspects were arrested yesterday. Police raided the luxury condominium on Arun Amarin Road in the Bang Plat district of Bangkok and rescued the 5 victims being held by a trans woman and her employee after being notified by a victim's relative. The victims were reported to be 46-year-old Pairin, 34-year-old Ploy, 48-year-old Kaimuk, 10-year-old Ya, and 6-year-old Che. The 2 children were Pairin's son and daughter. The victims were forced to get their hair cropped short, and the boy was forced to dress like a girl. Pairin and Kaimuk revealed they were scaled by their employers regularly and revealed hot water burns on their bodies. The 2 children also had several wounds and bruises on their faces and eyes. Pairin, Ploy, and Kaimuk informed the police that they were former nurses at a well-known hospital in Bangkok, but quit to work for the trans woman, 39-year-old Haru Hawangsuri, also known as Park Seo-yeon, in a collagen supplementary business. Haru told the women she was a half-Japanese, half-Korean investor. She could speak 6 languages and formerly worked for the U.S. Embassy. Convinced by her seeming authenticity, they resigned from the hospital and invested more than 5 million baht into her business. Soon after the women began working for Haru, she hit them with a 140 million baht fine. The trans woman said they made clients angry and they wanted their money back. Unable to pay, Haru locked the women and children in a room and forced them to work off the debt. The victims said Haru's employee, 20-year-old man, controlled and did most of the punishment. Pairin added that the man poured boiling water over them and that she was forced to hit her children. If she refused to do so, the young man would pour hot water over her children. Local news agency reported yesterday that Haru and the young man were arrested and initially charged with 2 sections of criminal law. Firstly, they were charged under Section 259 of the criminal law related to an offense against life and body, causing injury to the body or mind of others. They will be punished by imprisonment of up to 2 years and a fine of up to 4,000 baht or both. Secondly, they were charged under Section 309 of the criminal law, related to an offense against liberty and reputation, extorting another person to do or not to do any act, putting the fear of injury to life, body, liberty, reputation, or property to make another person suffer, or committing violence to force another person to do or not to do any act. They will face imprisonment for up to 3 years, a fine of up to 6,000 baht or both. Local news agency also reported that Haru has formed for this type of behavior. In the past, the trans woman was charged with attacking former patients and fraud, but escaped court prosecution because she changed names 9 times to hide her real identity. The report did not confirm whether Haru was half Japanese or half Korean. Police reported that the 2 suspects are still under questioning to discover their intention and motive to imprison and abuse the victims. The victims were sent to Police General Hospital for a health check and treatment. And that's a wrap for today's show. For daily updates, please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. See you again tomorrow with more headlines around Thailand. สวัสดีค่ะ